from Zoom, what we call an API, an application program interface, and it's going to go from Zoom to YouTube to set up my YouTube live stream. And the advantage is that those that are enrolled in the class can be part of Blackboard, but we could also either make it private and send people out links, or we can make it public that everyone could see it. So we think about the business application to this. If you had a business, let's say you were in real estate, you could even do, in some ways, you can have a certain number of people for even an open house using Zoom, and then you could also at the same time stream it live to YouTube with your open houses. So you could do something like that as well in real estate. Okay, we finished on this part. So let me just ask a question here. Raise your hand if you're new to the class. So I know that Miles was new. Who else? Is there anyone else? Unmic yourself if you're new. This is the first time you've joined the class. So Miles, are you?
I'm new.
You're new. And Miles, if you can be so kind at the end of the session, if you can stay with us, and we'll have Isa there. And Isa, you can even.
Sorry, I'm also new.
Okay, and Zoe, how do you pronounce your name? Zoe?
Yeah, Zoe.
Zoe. Okay, Zoe, you want to introduce yourself to the class of what is your major? Where are you from?
I'm from Greece. I'm still undeclared, but I'm in the business school.
Oh, you're in the business school and you're from Greece. You don't have a
Yes.
Greek accent.
Oh, thank you.
You're really fluent. Okay, welcome to the class. So, Zoe, if you can be so kind and stay with us after class, and then we can get it.
Okay,
And Miles, you want to
perfect.
introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Miles. I'm from Jersey. I'm a real estate major. And
Okay, real estate. All right, great. So Miles is here. So hopefully, Isa, if you can be so kind and stay with us with our group, and anyone else that needs to speak with me can stay with me after class. So let's go through what we have. Let me share my screen. Because today was supposedly the last day people could add classes. So we're always kind of expecting it. And in this case, Shannon, what are we seeing?
We're seeing the class on YouTube.
So it's on the YouTube. So we see Miles here. You see why, Miles, it's important. You're going to be on YouTube. So if you have your friends involved here, you want to go to
I got you. That's why I kicked it
private.
out.
So that's one of the things that we want to do. So you can see here that everybody is being seen around the world. So that's why we want to look professional and acted as well. And we know that it's what, Shannon, it's in real time, but what? It seems to be what? That if
It's delayed by a few seconds.
It's delayed, it's going to be lagged. So sometimes it doesn't matter if somebody's just viewing the YouTube, it doesn't matter that it's being delayed, let's say by 30 seconds. If we were doing high frequency trading and people were following me in the trades and it mattered second by second to implement, to put in the trade, it would matter. So we know that this is working. You know that I have a YouTube URL, and you'll be doing this for the next assignment. And you'll be, as you're doing it, you'll be showing your face, right? And you'll be talking about how to use Zoom and what are the qualities of Zoom. So let's go to, let's see if this is coming up. This is the modules, and then you can see here, I can see it in different ways in which you can, but in the way of anybody that needs to see it in terms of modules, if you see in terms of modules, you have the section links, and especially for Zoe and Miles, you can look at the PDF, and you know that the exams in this case, Josh, are where? online or in person, our exams.
Online or in person, actually.
Right, they're in person. Our regular classes are mostly online, but our exams are in person. So check the syllabus to make sure that you're available there. If you cannot make our exams in person, you need to drop the class. Okay, so we talked about what was due for today. We talked about, in this case, most of you have done it. Today it was due before class, so if you haven't done it, I suggest that you get it done real quickly. You had the signing up for Wiley, the readings, the adaptive assignments, and the quizzes. You need to register for the New York Times and Wall Street Journal and the free guides. We talked about, for instance, the Wall Street Journal, about how AI models from OpenAI and Anthropic went rogue. We talked about it last time, and these are what you do. If I go back to my modules for week 1, we talked about the PowerPoints that you have for Introduction to Information System, and I gave you last time a way in which we can think about it is keep vocabulary, especially for that AI handout on those models going rogue. And why I wanted to show you this article was the idea of the risks involved in AI, and the risks involved that businesses are a bit reluctant. There was also just now a article also by Bill Gates saying that we should worry more, that we should have more guardrails. And basically the idea of how they're testing what they call these frontier models, these new models, is they're setting it up in a sandbox, meaning they're trying to not have it go live on the internet because they can go rogue, meaning they can go wild, they can do stuff. So they need to be, what a sandbox means is they're trying it out in a secure digital environment that's isolated. So basically the software is blocked off from being live. We're now live on YouTube, and if we went wild, right, we wouldn't want it to be broadcasted in YouTube. So in this case, if there's any damage, they want it trapped. And when they're testing out a lot of these systems, they use what they call a reward mechanism. What is a reward mechanism? They tell what is the end result I want to do. The end result in this case many times is to see, are there any vulnerabilities to software? Are there any ways in which criminals, for instance, could basically go in and do havoc? And in this case, their reward system is if they've done well, they give them points. If they don't do well, they subtract. And they basically see what models work well. And in a way, you can think about it. You may say somebody, I want to maximize the number of clicks. And what the AI models will do is try to maximize that way of actually what is basically the instruction or the task that's involved. An open weight system is basically open in AI terms or in computer terms, means that everyone can see the back end, everyone can see the code. And these AI models are able to set this up where it's completely public and downloadable for anyone. Many of the Chinese models are open, what they call open source, and many of the US models are closed. So what happens is there's what it means, reward hacking is when an AI basically finds an unintended loop, it basically, you can think about it, it violates the spirit of the rules. It basically cheats and say, I'm going to get to my end product or my end task without following all the rules. And that's what they talk about in reward hacking. So these frontier models, you'll see it being used in these articles, are the most advanced, powerful AI systems. They exist and they're pushing the boundaries of AI, and they're saying, how much faster can I go? And the problem is in these AI boundaries is they don't necessarily have all the guardrails we need. And usually these frontier models, they don't give it out to everyone. And in these frontier models, what happened in this last instance of the article in the Wall Street Journal, they talk about how the frontier models basically escaped the sandbox and went out rogue and invaded another software company's models. So that was on the AI token. Okay, so that was what we've had before. And now what I want to do is make sure that you understand our next assignment, which is due a week from today. And let me share my screen. And what I want in sharing my screen here is I want to go back to modules, which I'm in. And I want to go to what's due. Go too far. On Wednesday, next Wednesday. So the assignment is to do, instead of chapter 2, we're going to be doing Tech Guide 1, the reading about hardware. You'll do an adaptive assignment of the Tech Guide hardware. You'll take the quiz. And what I wanted you to do, you saw before these reading links, it's more looking at it. Here's from the Information Technology Office at miami.edu. And Google now is allowing students to sign up free for Gemini Pro with a .edu account. So if you'd like, you can sign up for Gemini Pro, which gives you more storage capabilities and gives you their more advanced features. So you can use this of Gemini Pro. And this is what on the what's due section. And the other one, this is on the individual advanced digital one. And if you look right here, you can see this is your rubric for what you need to do. What I want you to do is everyone to become familiar with how to use a collaborative tool. Collaboration with others, how to host a session and we're going to use Zoom as our example, and make sure that you understand what's the difference of doing what I call recording to my computer or local recording. So you can put in your notes, local recording means that you are saving it to your computer. And also within Zoom, you can directly stream live to YouTube. I want you then to create using your own Google account. Do not use your school account, and you want to create an account and choose Go Live. It takes 24 hours to activate. So I'd like you to start this today after the class, and you'll enable lives. So once you get back from Google, from YouTube, that your account is active, then what I want you to do is go to zoommiami.edu, which is what, Patrice? What do you think zoom.miami is edu?
A Zoom account specific to the university.
Right. So the university, Patrice, has a subscription to Zoom for higher education. So the university pays Zoom to have more of the features than if you got Zoom free. So what I want us to do is have access to Zoom, and for us to be able, each of us, not only myself as a professor, but you as students in the university, also have access to zoom.miami.edu. So if I go, and you can do this as well, but if I go and you go to zoommiami.edu, notice that this right here is my individual Zoom. You can see that if I look, I have a profile of myself here. And if I go to the profile, I have a profile. And in this case, notice it says what's new is these are additional features that Zoom created. These are additional features. So if I click on AI, for instance, you can see that in this case, you can have different activities for Zoom. If you see here, you can do webinars plus events, personal devices. And what I'd like you to look at is first, and you can see here, what are my upcoming meetings? You can see later on polls and quizzes that I have attached. And Isa, we need to talk about these polls and quizzes that we can do as well for future classes, right, Isa?
Yes. Do you want to launch the one for the first chapter?
We can. Let me just go over this, and we can maybe for review, we can maybe we can do that later on. We can see if it works. Later on next week, we're going to have 2 assignments on Zoom. One's going to be individual, where you're going to create a tutorial showing the different settings that you have in Zoom, and recording to the computer and streaming live. And then if you go to settings, some settings are set by default, meaning the university sets that already for you. Some settings, the administrators of the university have not let us change it. Other settings, they can. So basically, if you look at this way, you can say participants can request the host to start in-meeting AI features. If you want to notice, look at this one, restrict Zoom AI features and transcription when external users are involved. This was locked by the administration. Allow users to ask questions in meeting with AI. And notice I've said all participants only. From when they join, you could ask questions to the AI and say, what have I missed? You can ask the instructor, mention my name. You have a meeting. Summary with AI allows hosts to generate a summary. You need to be able to generate a summary. Summaries are sent based on sharing permissions. So in this case, I could share my summary with myself, with my co-hosts and alternate hosts. I can do it with all meeting invitees, including those outside the organization or within the organization. And they allow me to do this. I can get meeting summary templates, and I can select a meeting, and you can see that there are a number of ones that you have. So if I looked at my assignment, at this case, they want me to look at to make enable the live streaming on YouTube. So if I went to my settings and I just typed in live, instead of going through it all, let me do it live. Let's see if it'll find it. Live streaming. Notice that by default, it's off. You need to make it on, and notice you can stream live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or you can do custom live streaming. So in this case, then you want to go through the entire system when you label it and turning it on and creating your Zoom link, and it goes down step by step. It also, we have videos, which are TAs. Did you upload it too, Isa? The videos? Yours?
No, I didn't do mine because Lily decided to go with hers.
Oh, okay. So there's videos where Lily, our TA, also has created a video showing how she does it too. So you can look at her video as well, but going through each of those. Okay, so this is, let me just, this would be then our part where we did it before of our modules of the sample. You can see here of the sample assignment. And notice here, you can see her, that she put the assignment of her cloud recording. When you create your local recording, you see what is the extension right here? Josh, what's the extension of Lily Wash Zoom individual .mp4? What's .mp4 mean? Josh?
Audio and video.
So it's basically an audio and video file. So I know that that MP4 resides on your computer. You need to just upload it. One of the things that I'm going to require you in class to do whenever you have naming of your own files, I want to see the date, the time you submitted, your name, and then what the assignment was, in this case, Zoom individual. And of course, put in the last three characters telling what type of file it is, in this case MP4. And you see, even you want to include the YouTube live, and you'll get then a link that was created by YouTube. This Zoom AI summary, since you're going to turn on your Zoom summary, it will be your AI summary. And you can see in this case, I'm going to open it up in a new tab. Let's see if it works. Notice it says, and then if I go to the new tab, you see here, it gives, this is great. It gives the text. You'll see your text instead of Lily Walsh, right? Josh, you'll see your name here, and this is the entire text. And you'll see Lily here. And then she's basically,
their students don't sign up on time, so make sure to sign up for YouTube Live. You have to wait 24 hours to record.
so she's going through all her steps there of showing here.
7, test to reflect. So we're going to go through all of our.
So you can even go through her entire tutorial. so you can see her entire tutorial going through it. That makes sense, Josh?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, so not only do you get her step by step, but Lily created, and the next time we do it, I'd like Isa, if you can do the creation for our next one, where we'll do a group one of all our group features, will be nice. So we can have that. I think this helps in order that you can mimic the same thing where you have Lily here with her picture here, so you can see your authenticity, and then also you're sharing your screen to show everyone else what are the differences on Zoom and how to create, how to start hosting a session, how to save it, how to change all the settings as well. So this was part of the sample, and notice this is the local one. You can click on that to see how it is, and this should be the same as her cloud recording. The only difference is the YouTube. And notice here, key concepts. You want to talk about key takeaways that you have. You don't want to just copy it straight from Lily, but you should be able to have like a reflection and saying, what did I learn from this assignment? Any questions? So one of the things that we say in this class, we're always going to have our cameras on. Okay, anything else, Isa, that you want to talk about the next assignment?
No, I just think as long as you follow the tutorials, and I can also upload, maybe we can have two. I'll for sure
Okay.
be doing them, then they should be all good.
Yeah, or we can do. What I'd like to do, since we have this already, Isa, is, and you can talk to Lily about it, is I'd like you to do the second one, for the group assignment that we'll
Sure.
have for the following one. If you,
Do you want me to put up the one that I already made for this assignment as well? I can put it up.
okay, I think it's enough what we have now. I don't
Okay.
think there's a problem since Lily's gone through it. I think it'll be enough, but for our next session, I think people like to see, okay, after reading it, what should it look like? And they can basically have you be the model of how their recording should be. Any other questions?
Okay, yeah.
And did you want to, you have a quiz for the first chapter?
Yeah,
have a
do you want me to
poll?
launch the poll? Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
launch the poll, because we're going to be doing that the following week. Everybody's going to be learning how to launch the polls, create the polls, take the polls. We'll see if it works.
Can
Okay,
everybody see that?
yeah. So it's after working in the school cafeteria for many years, Chris notes older kids are more likely to order juice. He is working with knowledge, context, information, and data items. Okay, so what do people need just then to click on that?
Yeah. Can you guys do that? Because I don't see anybody answering. Do you guys see the questions? This is participation. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, there's one person.
Okay, one person. So everybody needs to do this. So just pick one right now, because we're just going to go through this in terms of this, similar to the quizzes we took, and this is similar to part of the exams. So let's do, okay. So is it knowledge, context, information, or data items? After working the school cafeteria, Chris knows older kids are more likely to order juice. He is working with what? Okay, so we only have two people. Okay, so once we know the two people, let's give another 15 seconds, otherwise, and then you'll be jotting that down in terms of who's responding. That'll be part of attendance as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're using this as part of.
Yeah, just guys,
do
it's okay. It's
this
just for participation as well.
Yeah,
and
class
review.
participation. So we'll be doing it, so we're allowing another 15 seconds. Just go ahead right now and guess. We have 40 students in the class, so we're only getting, in this case, I'm gonna give them, why don't we do this another 30 seconds, and then we'll go on to the next one. Okay. So only half the class, so the other half, well, the first half. will
Okay.
get class participation.
My connection's
Okay, what's the second one? Isa. Isa, can you hear me?
I can barely hear you. I keep going in and out. Can you hear me good?
Yes, I can hear
I
you.
just got kicked out. Okay, okay.
Okay. So what's the second one?
They're all there.
They're
So you
all
have to
there? Oh, I
complete
just
it.
have to go down?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
So I'm
just
gonna
you
go
have to
down to
scroll.
number 2. Let me just go here. Okay,
Okay, they say that they don't see the questions anymore. Okay, so did you guys complete it and then submit it?
I
You guys can
completed
unmute
like
yourselves.
I
Okay.
completed the first question and then submitted it.
oh, and then it ended the poll, okay.
Yeah.
You know what's
And
not clear here? Next time, Lily, is maybe make it that we
that's
can.
probably
see
the
what-
issue, yeah, because you're supposed to do them all at once.
Yeah, and people don't know that and they're doing it. Okay, so can you see my screen? Can you see what
Okay,
I'm
so
doing?
let's launch them one at a time then.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a better idea. If you launch them one at a time, you can
No,
figure it
I
out.
don't see your screen.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna end this one. There's
Okay.
34 out of 38. And then next time we will just launch one at a time.
Yeah,
One
one at a
question
time is better. And then just even do like 3 questions, I think is enough.
Okay,
Okay, so we tried that.
okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right. So let me just share now.
Okay, well, thank you guys for letting me know.
We have to try everything out, right? So if I go back to modules, I know we have to improve in terms, Isa, in terms of just giving the poll, right? I would do just one at a time rather than individuals, and we can have a discussion on it. Okay, so if I go to week 2, I see that I have the hardware guide and I have the individual tech guide hardware. Let me just see in this case. Isa, do you see my screen, my PowerPoint? Beatrice, do you see my PowerPoint? I don't hear you.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. So let me just go back up. What I want to talk about for your assignment for next week is I want to talk about hardware. And hardware is changing quite a bit now in companies and also because of AI. So what I want to do today is start talking about the hardware and then tell you what the trend is with the advent of AI. So one of the things that's going to be important for us is to identify those major hardware components of computer systems. And this has been standard for a number of years, but with the advent of AI, have you ever heard then, Josh, about data centers and that there's a controversy of people of building data centers? Have you ever heard about that, Josh?
Yes. In my politics class yesterday, James Fishback actually came and talked about it.
And what did you learn? That's great. Fantastic. And what did he say? What did you learn from that?
I learned that I can understand why both sides of why the pros and the cons, but he talked a lot about how, like, as he's running for as a politician in Florida, how he wants to like keep the Everglades and keep the land to preserve it for all the Floridians, and how it would be unfair if there's noise pollution like 2 miles down from his home and it would be very unpleasant for the citizens living in Florida.
Okay, and do you have any idea, did he give you a clue of what the heck is a data center even?
He didn't really talk about it that much, go into the specifics, but I assume obviously it's just a massive place to store data to help improve AI and things like that.
Okay, so basically, what do you think is in a data center? Did he figure it out? A data center would be what? It'd be a large building with what inside? Do you think, Josh?
Hardware, a lot of like.
Yeah, a lot of hardware. You know what? You know, basically a regular one. When you go to Amazon today, have you ever ordered from Amazon, Josh? I bet you have, right?
Oh, all the time, all the time.
All the time. And you go online and you order, right? And then they send you, they have a physical location, of course, of a hardware, basically a physical center where they wrap up all your packages. By the way, I did a tour in Miami from Amazon that they do it periodically, where you can take a tour that physically you can go and see, you know, someone actually putting something in a box, somebody else wrapping. And my biggest surprise, Josh, was how much manual work there was still in this data center. And this basically in this center that sent out packages. That's the physical part, right? When they send us a package with all these boxes. A data, but what we're now doing is Amazon has a center. When you basically put in your order, they have servers that is collecting all our information, and it's basically doing what? That hardware is basically getting our customer. We put things in the cart, right? And then we pay, we have a gift card, and all of that is done. And that's done in physical centers around the world. You got it? And it's called, basically, what they're doing is, that's basically when they say cloud services, those are basically large computers in different parts. A data center, which this politician is complaining about, is when you're doing, for instance, ChatGPT, and you get these results so quickly, that requires a lot more computing power. And in that computing power, these computers get so hot that they need cooling mechanisms. So it's even more than what the traditional Amazon has when we order from Amazon, and they have these computers taking in our orders. These data centers, Josh, are basically larger computers with more capacity. So I'm going to go into this chapter when we're going to read about this chapter in the book. They're talking about traditional ones, just like Amazon has. They're not talking about what OpenAI, Anthropic are setting up all these data centers. In the beginning, everybody was excited about it, and now there seems to be what? Swept in, that everybody said, I don't want it in my backyard. I don't know how much pollution it is. I don't know how much water it's going to take. I don't know, basically, how much electricity it's going to be. It's going to be costly. It's going to be like in the Everglades. I want it here. And it seems like a lot of people don't, it's like a political issue where it didn't matter whether you were left or right. Everybody was in favor. And now all of a sudden, all the politicians that were in favor are saying, oh, we're against it, not in our backyard. So I want to go through this system. And next week, Josh, I want to go through what is changing in AI. And basically, you can think about what is changing in AI on their actual data centers is going to be more powerful. So think about it that way, that we can know about it. So we're going to need to know the traditional hardware first, and then we're going to add, after that, we're going to add that additional layer of what does it take for AI. So these concepts, I need you to understand. One is called the hardware, one is called the central processing unit, And you can think about that as like the brains of the computer. You can think about that as what is the computation of when I do my Excel spreadsheet, when they're doing all those computations, you can think about the central processing unit. You got it?
Yes.
So Shannon, when I think about it, I have something called primary storage and secondary storage. And we now have to know what it is and what are the differences. When you think about primary storage is where the data is being processed. It's the area of the computer that's being processed. And that primary storage in the computer is quite fast, going back and forth, the primary storage to the central. And secondary storage, a lot of you know that secondary storage is an area in which it's not basically being set to be processed. It's an area in which the data is stored. And then we have input technologies, output technologies, and communications. So basically, what we're thinking about in hardware, usually what the direction in hardware is that in price reduction of hardware and performance advancements in hardware, especially today, are going quickly. And sometimes in organizations, because IT, what we're talking about, information technology, is on the end of the organization. How, like the University of Miami, how should they look at what hardware they should buy? And their employees or their students, should they bring their own devices? And in the university, it means how do you get secure in their network? So here you can think about from supercomputers to mainframe computers to personal computers to laptop computers to tablets, smartphones. You can think about all the wearables, right? Now there's even there's smart glasses, there's Oura rings. There's a number of ways in which I can wear a number of wearables. I can wear wearables on even clothing. I can do laptops, a number of the different ones. And what I want to spend time on today is looking at this area of the CPU, the central processing unit. My central processing unit in my laptop or in Josh's laptop or any of your laptops, I have what I call a microprocessor, a control unit, an arithmetic logic unit, and we'll look at it. So this is a figure I want you to look at. The microprocessor, you can think about it, you can put even in your notes here, is the brains of the computer. This is where the computing takes place. The computing takes place. So think about it this way. On the left-hand side, I have input. That means on the left-hand side, for instance, I could be typing something from the keyboard. From the secondary storage, this could be something that's stored on my hard drive. This could be basically something from my Google Drive. And notice in this way, if I type something from my computer on my keyboard, it goes in one direction to the microprocessor. When I have secondary storage, this could be from my hard drive, or it could be from my, let's say, my OneDrive or my Google Drive. I can put something into this, to the microprocessor, or it can take it out. Now, within this process, I have something called my primary storage. Another name for primary storage is main memory. You can think about this is like secondary storage is like your disk or your Google Drive. Primary storage is your main memory that sits within your computer that passes you, let's say, your file that you're updating your resume. And in this case, the microprocessor has a way in which it has an arithmetic logic unit. So let's say in this case, in primary storage, let's say even in secondary storage, I had an Excel spreadsheet. It gets loaded into my primary storage or main memory. When I ever work on a spreadsheet, it is always in main memory. When I save my spreadsheet, it always goes to secondary storage, either to my Google Drive or to my own machine. And then I have what I call an arithmetic logic unit, a control unit, and a register. An arithmetic logic unit means doing the calculations, doing the sorting. And then it goes to the output, and my output could be printing it out. My output could be the screen. It could also go to other communication devices. So how my CPU works is the inputs come into the CPU from what we call random access memory. This is called RAM. And this is basically my inputs go into this primary storage, and it's called random access memory. And in that random access memory, RAM is what we call volatile. And what does that mean? That it only stays there when my computer is on. It's temporary. And basically, you can think about it is my control unit is like a traffic cop. My control unit will control the flow of the data. My ALU, which is my arithmetic logic unit, receives the data, and it basically then gets the instructions from my register. So that is how my computer works. And let me just go from this slide here, from the current slide. So you can see here, I get inputs from my software. This is called primary storage main memory. Another word is random access memory. And it basically goes into my control unit that takes the instructions and then executes arithmetic or logic into it. It then basically stores those results, my registers, and then puts it back into main memory. And then my software or myself have to say, save it to secondary storage. We're going to just skip this for a second there. So you can see here, computer memory is what's going to be important is memory capacity. Let me just go back here. And in Josh, when you were talking about those data centers, guess what? They need huge amounts of memory capacity. So that's going to be the blockage. Primary storage is my random access memory, and secondary storage is my hard drives. And in this part, let me just move this a bit. In computer memory, this is the capacity. Computer memory is the capacity is a bit, which is just a 0 or 1. So you can put it in your notes there. A 0, 1 is an on and off switch. The way traditionally computers work is with it basically doesn't know language. It knows basically just zeros and ones on and off. A byte is a character. So Patrice, 1 byte is a character. So your first name has, in this case, how many bytes? Patrice. If a byte is a character, how many bytes does your first name have? Patrice. You're muted. Shannon, if you look at your name, do you hear me, Shannon?
Yeah, she said but 7 because she was texting the chat that she can't unmute her mic.
Oh, okay, thank
But
you.
she answered the
Perfect.
question.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
You should have let me know.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. She just did it
So
right now.
anyways, right, that's it. That's your job, Shannon. You had something to do, Shannon.
Sorry,
so
she just
excited,
sent it
right?
right now.
So anyways, so now when you see the byte, then it's a character. So Shannon, how many are in yours?
It's 7.
7. So it's the same thing. And then you can think a kilobyte is then a 1024. And basically this is how it's set up. Now, what's interesting, Diego, have you ever heard of a token in AI? Diego?
Yeah,
What is a token then?
it's
Like
like
what
the amount of like usage you can get like on certain models.
Okay, basically a token is a unit of measurement. When you're putting in a prompt, is basically a unit of measurement. It's similar to a byte, Diego, but depending if you think about, generative AI, when you put in a prompt, it basically is trying to predict what you're typing in. And what it does is, depending on the model, a token could be like half a word. You could say like, it may be like thank, or a token may be thank you, or thankless may be thank and less, but it's a unit of measurement of part of a word. That's what a token is. And it depends what model you're using, Diego, but it's similar in this case of that computer memory. This is a unit of measurement for the models. And what is important is that if what people are having problems is developers is they want to find then cheaper models, because a lot of times they're prompting so much that it's going to the limits. Have you ever been to the limits, Diego, of these AI models?
Yep.
Where you run out of money, that all of a sudden, or they say you made your limit for today. So they're basically doing those measurements. So the same way with computer memory, you can think about it, is those tokens of units of measurement. So this is what I want you to read here. And then you can see here, even in computer memory, the primary storage, you can think of about main storage, and you can see within that primary 4 main types is that we talk about random access memory. You remember I talked about random access memory when you're using Excel, for instance. Excel, that portion of Excel is being put into random access memory. Read on, and this is what we say is volatile. It turns on and off. Read only memory is always then inherently built into your computer. Part of your way when you turn on your computer, a lot of instructions are stored in random read-only memory, which is permanent. Cache memory, have you ever, Diego, start typing in Google and it already, if it was something in the past that you've searched for, it comes up already when you do just a few letters? Has that ever come up?
Yeah,
that basically sits in cache memory sometimes. So that cache memory is quicker that it will come back up. And registers have instructions for the CPU. So those are part of primary storage. And secondary storage are outside the computer a lot of times. The secondary storage can be my SSDs, it can be my flash memory, it can be my hard drives, it can be a number of those. And then you can just, these are like old things that you can do. So I'm going to stop right here. Gave you like a preview of the hardware that you have to do for next week. And on Monday, we'll also go through the differences between that hardware of traditionally and what is basically the flavor of AI. How is AI now in these data centers and also for businesses, do they need to switch computers? Do businesses have to get new computers? Do a lot of the AI processing, and do these large companies with these data centers, what is their hardware going to look like? And you can imagine that it will be extended to a lot more processing. And guess what? That RAM, Diego, is going to be key. That you're going to need more and more memory. And have you ever heard now that it's difficult? Memory RAM is becoming more expensive. Why? Because these data centers are demanding more of this RAM, and it's getting backlogged that these companies have to produce more of these memory chips. Okay, any questions? So what I'd like you to do is especially get your Zoom accounts. Go to Zoom and also get your YouTube live accounts so you can start your project. On Monday, we're going to be setting up groups. So it's important to come to class on Monday to have your group, because your next assignment after this one is going to be a group assignment where we'll get into more features of Zoom, and we'll be doing some assignments on our own and some assignments in groups, and our groups will be able to help each other. Any questions? So attendance, Isa, you know,
Yes, my connection's stable now. Okay, 4924.
4924 is attendance. Those
Let me write
people
it
that
in.
are new, stay with me, with Isa. If you have additional questions that you want to talk to me about, or Isa, stay with me. I have my office hours now. And I wish everybody the best. And thank you, Shannon and Josh, for moderating. Shannon, you had work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for sharing on what we knew in data centers.
Thank you.
I had a question regarding the exam schedule.
Yes.
So I have additional time, and I see that the first exam is on the 7th. How did you want to go about like the additional time?
I want you to, thanks for asking. Let me just stop the recording if you don't mind. Let me just stop and then I'll be happy to answer it.